Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, it's late at night and I'm all comfy, so I want to go and sit here and talk about some pretty cool news when it comes to the PlayStation itself. Now, we have two separate little topics over here that we're going to deep dive into. Number one is on some pretty big PlayStation 5 Pro news, and even more leaks and information when it comes to the PSSR, which is actually apparently still being, mass being produced, mass being updated, and overall kind of some pretty cool news. And as well, we also had a pretty interesting outsource article, outleaving, whatever the best word for it is, where basically one of the really big executives over on the PlayStation side that some of you guys may have actually heard about actually left, but did like a pretty fun exit interview, maybe exit outerview, whatever the best word for it is. And we actually get some pretty nifty lines over there, so I'm gonna go showcase up some of that too as well. Some pretty big cool inner workings, even for them trying to go bribe companies like from Square Enix to go get them on the PlayStation platform. Some crazy stuff. So let's go and talk about it all, so if you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy. Make sure you guys are subscribed here with the notifications on our second YouTube account, which we're gonna be active very, very soon, throwing a lot of shorts and also reaction stuff over there. So if that is your cup of tea, I do recommend you guys this link down below. We have the two Twitters down below. The gaming Twitter is gonna be active as well pretty soon. Same with the main one now, the Twitch too as well. And let's go and dive on into the video itself. So very first and foremost, let's go and talk about the PSSR. So we don't have to recap it too much, but we will just for the sake of people. The PSSR had a few issues on very first few weeks. Launch for games where there was like shimmering. It was basically overcompensating for colors. It just wasn't a good vibe. It wasn't clean. It wasn't nice. It wasn't good. It was just kind of lackluster. A lot of drama behind it. Not a good first impression. And we did go cover a lot of the news here on the channel itself. But I also want to keep on giving you guys the follow-up because it does seem like it's getting better. And it does kind of seem like this kind of really lit a fire underneath PlayStation's behind to go make sure that they can get this all working well, which I think is a win. So if you guys can have a chance to go and see on this one, devs, number one, there's like a lot of bit to give information from this, but basically devs may start revealing the PS5 Pro PSSR version that they're using in their games themselves. So two things that break into this one, where number one is that this shows, based on the we'll show in the comment section, is that they've actually had multiple iterations and new versions of the PSSR and major updates for it. Like this is big, like a lot more than expected. And as well, it's also very nice for the transparency side, where people have a chance to be like, hey, we found that like 7.0 was the best, maybe min-max with our game version with how they toned it on up. And then maybe at this point, maybe you're at like a 12.0. So there might be an update overall. They might have one coming in the future. But at the end of the day, it's kind of very nice to have more transparency. But as they said and report over here, we have too as well that they are quietly improving the PS5 Pro's PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution behind the scenes. However, it appears that the company wanted to keep those improvements along with the PSSR version information a secret. Basically saying like, hey, if we get to a 1.0, which is kind of maybe the buggy mess at the start with the shimmering and glitches, and now we're on a 3.5, we'd rather you just go and update the game and just say it's all working now, rather than maybe potentially revealing our issues. And I'm not sure exactly why. Maybe because maybe sometimes updates will be bigger, maybe some updates will be smaller. Maybe that's the main reason. I can maybe see that. And maybe in the regards to as well, if it's like, hey, like this game is at 7.0 for 4 months. Is PlayStation giving up on it? Does it maybe hurt sales? I could see some justifications on it, but I kind of like knowing. But anyway, it does kind of seem like one major developer, though, has revealed the version of the PSSR that was being used in their game itself. So Kingdom Come 2 Deliverance lauded for a PS5 Pro PSSR use, and it's not even on the latest version. So Kingdom Come 2 Deliverance 2, which has actually been really good, has been universally praised for a number of reasons, one of which is the excellent utilization of the PS5 Pro's PSSR. And if you guys want to actually have a video on that, I actually would not mind deeper diving into it, and I think it's kind of cool to see because it is a newer, also third-party release into it. But one thing to note, though, is that the Reset Era user noticed that the official game FAQ notes that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is using the PSSR version 9.60. Crazy high. And I do want to say, this might be me just misremembering, I could be wrong, but I almost want to say some of the other prior versions that actually fixed the PSR glimmering and shimmering was actually in like a 3. Like I think I remember a 2.3 or a 3.2 for some odd reason. I could be completely wrong, but that's what I kind of remember in the back of my head. So intriguingly, this shows that there's been a lot of updates since then. And don't forget the PS5 Pro all retrospectively just kind of came out. And it does seem like a lot of these shimmering issues and other outsourced issues are actually doing better. Like once again, if you just want to pick up a PS5 Pro, I have all those affiliate links down below. But like, it's pretty cool. So information that has never publicly been shared before by a dev right now, and it has publicly gone out saying that this game, it's also game, don't forget, also came out like a week ago as well. So it kind of seems like there's probably maybe a 10.0 at this point already, because don't forget, it usually will have your shippable copy of a game around a few weeks beforehand to start uploading them to like Steam or PlayStation or Xbox. Then it has to get approved on their side, and then it just sometimes takes a few extra steps and a few extra weeks. So I'm sure there's been no major big updates on this so far, because once again, it takes a while to be approved. But either way, it's cool. It's like this, they've been massively improving and still working on it. So in response to this, another dev who works on the PS5 Pro enhancements for their games revealed that the PSSR version 9.6 isn't also even the latest revision, like I just mentioned to you guys. The dev who goes by Coral Sky and Reset Era also suggested that Warehouse Studios may have violated a non-disclosure agreement, though, NDA, because Sony doesn't allow these studios to share these PSSR versions. At least it did until this current second. And we're not sure if this is just a disconnect or a major big leak in the PS5 Pro, but like this is good news. Like they're working on it, they're making stuff better, and there has been a really nice iteration with it. Like I said, if you guys want that throughout the next few days, let me know. I still want to take like a week off or something for YouTube soon, so be on the lookout for that one, but I still keep saying all the improvements on our channel, you guys will probably approve on that too as well. But it does kind of seem like that's kind of cool. We do have the confirmation that it's been working on a lot more, and at the end of the day, I think these are all wins. So give me your thoughts and comments down below. We'll keep on giving you guys more PS5 Pro updates if you want to, so subscribe if you guys want. So I just want to go and throw out some highlights over here, because we have the initial article and I scrolled through it, but over here, this is a funny one, where I saw someone on Twitter saying Shuhei Yoshida said that his early PlayStation boss, who came from Sony Music, and this is a guy who's been at PlayStation his entire life, and apparently had a little bit of drama with it too as well. On top of this, I was doing a little bit more Googling, trying to make sure I know what I'm talking about for it. But basically, our boss that they had at the time from Sony over here was apparently the schmoozer who threw parties for Square Enix executives to get Final Fantasy onto PlayStation. So all these Final Fantasy games, and even as of this current moment with 16 and the remake that actually had this early console exclusivity, might have just been bought out by some random grandpa who's like some Japanese bro over an executive over at Square Enix that was making Final Fantasy for the very first time ever 30 years ago. And then for some odd reason, they got like bottle service, they got some cute Japanese ladies all flopping around. Maybe they found their wives, who knows? And that's kind of how Square Enix apparently has such a close business relationship with PlayStation and how they got on their console itself. Like, I thought that was a crazy story. Saying he came over here from Sony Music. As you guys know, Sony has like their movie pictures, music, cameras, TVs, like a lot of various parts, but also PlayStation. And he hung out a lot with the executives from Squaresoft, throwing parties at his apartment. Eventually, we were able to go get Squaresoft to commit to the PlayStation. They brought all of their franchises from Nintendo to the PlayStation itself. And we actually made a video forever ago where we basically edited like a history of the Nintendo and PlayStation drama. So I'm actually somewhat well-versed in this. We made a little video doc of it. If you want, I can leave a link down below if you guys want to check that out. It was actually kind of try a little bit. It's kind of like a taste of videos I want to make more in the future when I have the spare time. But like some of those cool ideas to me are like nifty. Like there's like a lot of these old school business things that somehow shape into billions, if not multiple billions of dollars of purchases and sales. And this all could have just been over some drinks maybe 30 years ago. And that's crazy to go and see. Square Enix has had a lot of different games, a lot of different IPs, anime, music, and they've had a very long-term business connection made from this. And that's kind of crazy to go and see. And we've had this article too as well. And there's a lot more fun stuff. Like maybe I'll try to throw some fun facts throughout the week or whatever on the videos, but like it's cool. So this is like some stuff over here. Like he was like the lead account manager for the Japanese publishers and developers. So they want to get all the major games in Japan to come to PlayStation 2 as well. And they wanted to work with like Nintendo, Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, and like all these Japanese people want to have sure they had all these games on here on top of that too. And apparently there was even some big drama too as well, where he was actually forced to have to go and take a step down somewhat into the indie department to make sure he keeps his job over here at PlayStation 2 as well. And some fun stuff on like the 1996 Crash Bandicoot developments from everything on earlier on too as well. And it's just crazy to go and see how intertwined a company like Sony has been all throughout the entire world. It's very nifty to go and kind of see too as well. Like they're for the first time they get to visit Kaz and everyone else too on top of it. Like this is so cool to go and see. So there's a few nifty things on top of this because they're kind of talking about some of the processors on the console that made it more upbeat. There's like transitions over here from the PS2 to PS3 with different people getting fired. And it's just a really, I know I'm kind of high leveling some of this. If you just want to check it out, feel free to. But like it's very intriguing to go and see if like, hey, like Xbox, like was it a big deal back in 2000 to about 2010 or last year? What was like the PlayStation start? Was there ever any issues? Like I just like hearing all these inner finer details on this type of stuff too as well. And this even talk about how they had the weird development over here from like the cells to x86, which overall made the development on these PlayStation consoles a whole lot better too as well. And like they were just happy. Like they're like, hey, like was PlayStation good? Were you happy working there? It's a really cool and great exit interview. There's a lot of cool things to go and talk about. So if you guys want to highlight anything kind of cool with this, feel free to. Like I said, I may throw a few fun facts onto maybe the channels throughout the week if we can. But if not, no worries. Make sure you guys are subscribed here. The second channel will be up and running very soon. The Twitters, the Twitches, all that stuff down below. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching in the first place.